Welcome back to Keep It Good. I'm your host, Emily.
And I'm your host, Carly. A couple of weeks ago, we did an episode and we were talking a little bit about, alchemy and all of that. And we said, oh, you know what, maybe we'll do an episode on that. And so we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. We're going to teach you how to change your pain into purpose or power or whatever is good for you. So basically, starting off, alchemy is, in the basic form, is just transformation, like turning lead into gold. Emotional alchemy is, like I said, turning your pain into purpose or power. You're, readjusting your energy into something good and useful instead of holding on to it, suppressing it. Energy that just kind of stays around. It doesn't go away, it doesn't go anywhere. It just resurfaces later in other ways. And that could be like stress, burnout, resentment. It's just good to kind of recognize it, deal with it, and let yourself move on. Really heal from it and turn it into something good, right?
Right. So, like recognizing your emotions and then in turn, how to deal with them.
Right.
Yeah.
How many people have you met that go through something and they have two choices afterwards? They can make it into a positive thing, learn from it, grow from it, and ultimately teach and help people to not have to go through that. Or they take the unfortunate route and they become victimized and it's them against the world and they're bitter and they don't do anything useful or kind with that. They just kind of hold on to it. They never face it. They're in denial about how they truly feel.
Yeah.
And it's poisonous. It is. It's poison for them and the people around them. So, this is kind of like a very, simple form of it.
Right. Because this can be very intense if you really dig
Yes.
into it. It's got a
Yes.
chemistry background. Like it's a lot. Can be a lot
Yeah.
of steps. So we're, for lack of better terms, dumbing it down for us too to learn. Like this is for us to take in as well, right? So we're all learning together.
Yes. 100%. And a lot of times you're already doing this without even realizing it.
Story of my life.
Yeah. So we broke it down into 4 steps, which are easily digestible. So step 1 is name it, recognize it, accept it. Step 2, set your intention. Step 3, channeled actions. And step 4 is reflect. So diving into number 1, it's naming it, it's recognizing it, it's accepting it. You're pausing for a moment to actually think, what am I feeling right now? Label it. I'm feeling angry. But a lot of times emotions are layered, right? So anger could really stem from an old wound that you never healed in the first place that's kind of resurfacing. Fear could be uncertainty. It could be anxiety. It's really diving into the true core, making this feeling come up and recognizing the sensations that it makes you feel. Maybe you're not realizing that a certain situation makes you feel anxious. You're not able to label that, but you can feel your body is not comfortable in a certain place or with a certain person. And you're kind of just noticing all of your body in this moment, and it's not hiding from it. You're going to use these feelings, sensations, as allies. Think of it as an ingredient for growth and work with it. You're going to also accept it for what it is with zero judgment. This is kind of going into a little bit of shadow work, which we have a guest coming on pretty soon that's going to dive into shadow work. So I don't want to get too into it, but you are going to kind of incorporate a lot of shadow work into these steps, and you'll learn more about those next week. But accepting who you are, it's going to kind of resurface a lot of ugly sides to yourself. That's the point of shadow work is uncovering. We're all human. We all have jealousy. We all have envy. We all have these things that are, just we don't like about ourselves. But when we recognize it, it's easier to change and help us grow from it. So you're allowing yourself to move through this. And also part of it is taking accountability. What part in this did you play? Being honest with yourself. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes. But if you're in denial that you did nothing wrong, you're not going to learn from it in any way. You have to put ego aside. and own it. Take accountability. Once you do that, you kind of free yourself.
Yeah. Well, one thing too was that resonated with me was talking about like bitterness is looking backwards. Like you're bitter about something that happened in the past. And, like you're hurt by someone or you had a trauma. And then anxiety is actually looking forward. So that's towards like a future threat, something unknown that you don't quite understand. And then when they overlap, you feel stuck. You're stuck between
Yeah.
like fear and maybe resentment. And, you're just in a weird spot. But if you label it to start, you start to kind of like look inward, like, okay, I'm actually better about this, or this past thing that happened to me when I was in high school and it's coming up again because something similar has happened. And of
Yeah.
course, it wasn't dealt with when you were 14 or 15 or whatever. And like other emotions come up, like you said, like the jealousy, and then it's hard to rest, it's hard to trust, it's hard to forgive.
Hmm.
Like there's so many emotions that come up within this whole thing. So, you might find that you're sad or frustrated, but it actually stems from,
Being wounded
yeah,
or,
like,
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah. I know. And it's a multidimensional. It's not one size fits all either.
right.
So just recognizing it, step one. Step two is setting an intention. You're going to literally give yourself a motto. It could be anything. Ours today, we're going to use bitter to better because
Hmm.
that was the whole point. Just making a goal. What are you trying to change from this situation? Don't match ugly energies. If they're put towards you, make it your mission to never treat anyone else the same. Or maybe you go through grief and your goal is to help other people go through grief because you now know how horrible. I mean, that's the number one, that's the worst feeling, I think, in
Yeah,
the world. Top emotion everyone wants to avoid is grief because
of course.
you lost someone, you know? And what better way to make that into a beautiful thing than to help others who are struggling with that? Then number 3 is channeled action. So this is really where you can get creative, experiment, whatever way of just expressing yourself. And there's so many things that you can do. You can start creating. Art doesn't need to be perfect. Art is for you and you alone. But really do believe everyone should, at some point, just get creative in some aspect of their life. It taps into emotions, it taps into a whole other part of your brain. Um, it's just a beautiful thing, and I think we kinda leave it at a certain age and never really pick back up, but just see, I mean, write, draw, paint, sculpt.
Right. They make those adult coloring books for a reason.
Yeah, yeah, there's
I love
something to be
that.
said about art.
Yeah,
There is something
agreed.
to be said. If you're not into that, I I don't know how many times we've said meditate.
Mhm.
Meditate and yoga
Yoga,
are
yep.
very powerful tools to help move stagnant energy. And
Mhm.
that's what emotions are is energy. And I mean, you had brought up somatic yoga, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think if you're on social media, you're gonna see there is a lot of talk about that, like different programs to purchase. I see it anyway, maybe because I do yoga, but it really helps you release like the armor that your body is caught up in. You might have like a tight neck or, your stomach hurts or geez, my hip is always so tight. Like you hold energy in all different parts of your body. So these movements are almost like restorative. If, for the people who have done yoga, you're kind of sitting in positions for a little bit and just letting whatever comes up come up. So it's not necessarily about like stretching per se. But I know even when I used to do Bikram yoga, like people were crying. I mean, and just in yoga in general, I've been to a regular class where people are crying, but there was many people practicing yoga and literally just tears falling down their face.
Yeah.
It's quite
It's
amazing. I would be like, "Why am I not crying? Should I be crying? Are we
I know.
like, oh no."
I know.
But it's emotional alchemy.
Yeah. You're
It
moving the stagnant energy.
That's exactly what you're
S-
doing.
Yeah. And it could be very surprising to some because they don't even
Mhm.
realize when they're in the somatic yoga session that I mean, it tends to be a little bit longer because you are
Mhm.
holding these poses longer and it's kind of bringing up that repented stuff that
Yeah.
you don't even realize you carry.
Well, the goal is to feel comfort in your body again, which I think
Yeah.
is an interesting thought.
Yeah. That's sweet. Another thing too is visualization. There's so many things you could do to kind of visualize yourself letting go. I've done many things where, like, we've gone to a waterfall, and that's bringing in the water element, which is so
Mhm.
cleansing and purifying. And you just kind of visualize yourself leaving that at the water and
Right.
letting it wash away,
Or
you know?
taking a shower, a bath. I mean, like,
Yeah.
physical water on you as well, a swim.
Yep. Anything that just kind of, gets you into that state of thinking it and saying it inside, like, okay, this is not serving me anymore. I'm letting this go. I have to. And the fire element too, you could write out everything, journal to get it all done and burn it and let it just kind of go up into the universe and out of you,
Mhm.
anything visualization is whatever you want to make it. Going for hikes, you could just visualize yourself leaving whatever's here, you could throw it off the cliff. You can, it's just like make believe. But if you really truly believe and you are going through the steps, it does work. And it does kind of make you feel lighter once you leave that waterfall or
Mhm.
burn that piece of paper or anything, whatever works for you. Everyone's different. Um, Another thing to kind of alchemize it is, I mean, I say this all the time, gratitude. Gratitude is like the best medicine for anything. I mean, you could look at the situation and yeah, like so and so hurt me, or they broke up with me, or I lost that job, whatever the case may be. If you could find one thing good about it instead of always looking at the downside, it really is powerful and it overshadows the negative. Positivity will always win in my eyes. And like I said, experimenting, finding your own kind of channel. If it's knitting, gardening, some kind of passion project, volunteering, there's so many things that you can do to kind of just redirect this energy into something positive, something that's good for you and also those around you. Bitter tastes gross.
Yeah.
It's a sour feeling. It's poison to your body.
Yeah, it's a taste that stays with you, like, long after you've been hurt in whatever
Yeah.
capacity, large or small, and it's easy to go back to those pain points and the trauma or whatever it may have been for you, like you said, whether it's a breakup or, "I thought I was gonna get this promotion, and then this person did instead, and I feel wronged," or, whatever it might be, you gotta try and find a way out of it because like we said, like there's 2 roads, right? You're gonna take the high road, you're gonna take the low one. I
Yeah.
think I'd like to think that most people take the high road and can better themselves, but, some people unfortunately take the low road and hopefully they can get back up.
Yeah, and it's easier to take the low road, I feel, and
Yeah.
I've been guilty of going that route. It's hard to kind of face the ugly side of you.
Mhm.
And I mean, I don't know how many times I've suppressed things that I just never had the emotional intelligence to even recognize was still lingering there.
Right.
And it could take years. This isn't an overnight process. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, "Oh my god, I'm so good and I'm going to do it." No.
I took the high road.
Yeah.
Eh, well,
No.
you just it's okay to sit with your feelings too, like, it's okay to feel if you're upset or sad or you had a breakup, like, obviously, it is hard to pick up those pieces, but you gotta, at some point, turn it around, and hopefully this will be some good insight for everybody.
Yeah. Like when we talked, I think it was the first episode when we talked about treating others the way you want to be treated, right? And you just see those rotten people. Deep down they're wounded. They're unhealed because now they're taking it out on everyone else and they're just rotten and cruel. But if they were to sit with themselves and be like, why do I hold such resentment towards this person? Or, there's a lot of layers your story is built on. And some wounds could be from 3, 4, 5 different incidences. I have a big thing with trust. It's very hard for me. I'm still working on it because so many times throughout my life, my trust has been hurt. And that's probably my biggest wound in life is just having trust in people. And I'm not going to let that ruin me and look for everyone as they're going to hurt me. No, I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, I'm still working through my ability to fully trust people. You know, I try and see the good in everyone, but unfortunately, I've had a lot of lessons and tests. And, my eyes wide open now that no, there are people that are here and they will hurt me. And I can't be so trusting. Um, but it's not necessarily a bad thing either. I think I was way too trusting for a long time.
Yeah.
There has to be a fine line and a good balance, and I'm getting there. And then moving on to number 4, it's part of reflection is that's something that I can look at myself now and admit it and know that I'm still in the process of
Mhm.
learning how to do that. And it's not from one single episode in my life. And it's not going to stop today because, I still got many more years to kind of learn these lessons. So,
Right. This is like a continuous you'll have to do this.
multiple times, yeah.
Yeah,
But you're
right?
not gonna have to sit there and be like, "Okay, step 1, I'm gonna
Of
label it.
course.
I'm gonna" you
Yeah.
just kind of
Essentially,
learn.
this is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it'll come second nature after a while once you are able to kind of put your ego aside and look at everything as a test and a
Mhm.
lesson and what you wanna bring out of this situation. What was one incident where you really felt shocked with how you learned something through what you felt?
Oh gosh, I think I've learned so much through my kids. The emotion sometimes that I get with them and the frustration that I have, I've never really felt with other people. I've had obviously emotions with other people, but that's like a learning curve, like how to keep myself in check and not be upset by what they've done or, like they're learning too and I have to be the teacher to teach them that. But I mean, I think I've said this before. I've never like been in a fight, like even a verbal altercation with like anybody. And I have with my kids. It's like
Yeah,
wild.
I know.
I don't know if I'm still learning. I don't even know if I have a learning point to that question. But I don't know. What about you?
For me, uh, I think going on with the trust, I've learned to find the strength in myself. Like you learn to just kind of have your own back. And yeah, it can be kind of sad, I guess, at first, but then you find that inner strength and you're like, I got it. I don't need anyone else. You know,
Mhm.
this is my life. These are my battles. I shouldn't need anyone else. And that was a very big turning point for me to just not rely on anyone else, not have to feel like I have to trust everyone, you know?
Right. Well, you're your biggest advocate, and that goes with many things, with your health, with whatever.
Yeah.
So you're always going to be the person that has your back the best.
Yeah.
You'll not be behind you, but. Well, and I think too,
No, I
like we
know.
can't judge our experiences sometimes as like good or bad, but view our struggles as just part of our path. And what is that path teaching us? What was this struggle like meant
Yeah.
to be put in my life to teach me?
Yeah. And sometimes I think the same lessons kind of keep popping up in your life until you fucking get it, you know?
Yes. Yep. I
Like,
totally agree with that.
yeah. And I think that's probably why the same kind of feeling kept coming up and up until I faced it head on and I just trusted myself.
Mhm.
Maybe the trust that I had against other people was myself and trusting my own gut and like all these things. There's so many different layers that you can get into it. It's a very like I don't know. It's just kind of accepting every part of yourself in this process and being okay with that and just knowing we're all human. We all have a dark side, a light side, right? We all have ego. We all have rebirths. We all go through these stages in life and it's just navigating it in a more productive way than just suppressing it, putting it down, ignoring it. It did happen and you know, like I said, it's going to resurface into resentment or jealousy or something dark that's not fully you, you know? Don't let it win. You're
Well, we
better than
liked
that.
that little I mean, that quote that said, "You can't heal what you don't feel,"
Yeah.
which is true. Like, if you just keep pushing these feelings down, it's not gonna get better for you. You have
Yeah.
to face them, feel the emotions, figure out why, and then hopefully
And
heal
learn
from them.
yeah, and
Yeah,
learn to channel it into something productive and positive and helpful, like I said, I think the number one emotion that everyone is afraid to feel is grief,
agreed.
and I know someone recently who had a stillborn, and we were all very excited for them to, "Oh my god, you're gonna have your baby, ba ba ba," and then the most tragic and unexplainable and horrific thing happened, and with every right, they could have just, you know, went into a deep, dark depression and held on to bitterness and all of it, and they actually turned it into, like, a passion project in honor of the little boy, and it's bringing comfort to so many others now. Through that experience, they alchemized it into a way that not only leaves a legacy for that little boy, but also brings comfort to others,
Mhm.
It's
Absolutely.
is just incredible, and such a story of strength, and, like, true emotional intelligence. I mean, she's just incredible, and I give her so much love to her and her husband and her whole family for just what a powerful and beautiful little message that she is spreading throughout this world in the most
Yeah,
unthinkable
horrific
time,
time. Oh my
right?
god.
Yeah. So my heart goes out to them, but I don't know. I mean, hopefully you can start to practice these steps. Like I said, you're probably already doing it. You're not even realizing it.
Yeah,
And if so, then continue to do it because I mean, your your health for your mind is just as important for your liver, your lungs, your heart. I think there's such a stigma around mental health. Well, maybe if we eliminated the stigma, there wouldn't be such a big crisis right
yeah,
now. It's just as important. So use your feelings and make good choices from them. Learn from them. They're all tests, they're all lessons. And like I said, it'll keep showing up until you finally get it and address it.
yeah.
And then it won't feel so hard the next time it happens.
And going from the bitterness to better, bitter to better, which we thought was a perfect title for this episode. We found something too that said, bitterness means I've been hurt. Healing means I've learned. And better means I've grown. And I feel like that just hit it on the head. Like you just once you know like what it is and that you've learned from it, now you've grown and now you can help yourself in every other situation that might come your way. So just
Yeah.
put this in your toolbox. This is just like another thing. I know this season has been a lot more on the mental health, like you just said, but we just think it's really important and to just keep it good, keep it positive. This is all things to better you, to help make you a better person for yourself, for your family.
Yeah. It all stems from that, right? Everything. So this week's quote we got from the one and only Einstein, uh, all about energy, because that's what emotions are. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. So he says, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. So you can either keep that energy as is and let it sour your soul, or you can decide to make a change and use it for good. We hope you have a really great week. And as always, keep it good.